One. Hello, everyone. This is Hendrik from Starseed talking. Today, we're going to interview Kate. She's a Palladian Nordic who's an ambassador. So now she's going to explain herself.
Hi everyone, my name's Kate. I knew from a really young age that I was gonna be a part of something really big, very monumental. Um, I was I was interviewed when I was really young, like 3 or 4 years old. I've always had crazy memories of kind of the dark world. I remember having nightmares of being a surrogate mother or a locked, enslaved woman who was probably highly drugged uh, uh, from a young age. Kind of have memories of suicide and just rape and death traps, and it all happened to like center around Halloween too. Kind of one of those satanic holidays kinds of things. Um, so it was that was that was very scary. I never could deal with that. I just hid in my closet as a kid. Um, I I was visited by some kind of extraterrestrials or very powerful beings. I thought they were extraterrestrial. Different sets when I was like 3, and they told me that I would be in my future dealing with some very crazy stuff, and that I would need to be a representative for women in my future, and just take part in these programs that no one knows about.
Hmm. I like how you brought up Halloween. A lot of people don't know that Halloween is used for. So when kids go out for trick or treating and they get all that candy intake and then all that sugar inside their system, it actually creates like such a negative energy aura, and then it's like more of like a cocaine high for what beings are they called? Dark archons to feed on little kids. That's why kids have nightmares on Halloween because they have so much sugar content in them. It's all a big scam. Everything's a lie on this world.
Yeah, I was I lived like near a train track in a trailer park for the first 5 years of my life, just because my dad was an engineer on assignment in a small town, and so I just kind of I saw some kind of crazy stuff like like everything's an inverted world over there, and it's a small town, so nothing really matters.
Yo, so what happened when you became awakened?
Well, I remember when I like in 2012, like I heard about all the kind of like the coming of the Mayan calendar. I thought that was kind of like crazy. I had no idea really what that was about, but I had like a semi awakening then where I was just like I like fell out of time, and I was visited by so many beings, and like I had all the basically like a compiled bit of memories that I'm like slowly uncovering as I go, still from like probably 2018 to 2000, now, and it's all it's all about kind of deja vu, like it's like pre-planned. It's like somebody knows what's happening to me. It's like they're watching for every step, and they from their side they have their own memories. It was all connected to in the beginning Corey Good's story. Um, so I got convinced that I needed to go to that Disclosure Fest there, and then everything since then has just been a giant interview about what is my reality. Because I've always kind of like lived out of it. I've not never really. I was like, I'm just kind of like a piglet.
Mm-hmm.
I I've always had a very broad view of things. Like when you're like 17 and you have no idea what anything is. Like I just like moved to a big city in the last year or so. So it's like all the media culture that I never understood, not even one bit. I am kind of like getting into.
I can tell you're a starseed by just looking at you and
hmm
how you act. This
Yeah,
world's so different
it's
for you.
yeah. I definitely think so. I've always been like shocked. I've just been so awake since I was like 3. Just
Yeah. I like how
smarter
you said in
than
the beginning,
people.
when you were younger, you always knew you were part of something bigger, and that's a big starseed trait. Is when I was younger, I always felt like there was something big I'm here for and something big I have to do. And then I always felt out of place and always like a people watcher. I was always learning about their culture. I was always the most quietest person in the world for like 10 years because I was always learning their culture and how they act.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ambassador thing. You said you're an ambassador for who?
Well, I think it's I've always since I've never gotten any real answers. You know, I never
Mhm.
have. They've never treated me like I was a colleague, but kind of like you're in business with us, kind of a thing. So I'm not you who like knows who to hang out with at night. In my dreams, I go somewhere.
Where do you go?
Um, I'm not sure. I mean, I totally get interviewed all the time, and I do some things, and I've been some places, but I
Hmm.
don't like. And apparently, there's something about like when you turn 30, which I just did a couple days ago, that you're supposed to like recall things, especially if you're like my age, and you're kind of like,
Yeah, when I hit 30, man, my memory was so. I'm 33 now, so 3 years ago, my memory was so fucking so vast. I remembered my family, my star family, where I come from, where they would take me off world, and like it would be like vivid as like you and me are talking right now. It would be like so real, and I'd be like at dinner tables with Dracos and reptilians eating, and then talking and hanging out, and then yeah, and then I come back to this world, and I tried dating another human again, and their friends found my uh, YouTube channel and my Instagram page, and just started making so much fun of me to the girl that I was dating, and just calling me, oh, my brain must be so fried from doing so much drugs in my past. Everything I'm saying is a complete fucking lie. Like he thinks he's an alien. Aliens aren't real. Like they're such close-minded sheep that I lost my shit on the girl that I was dating and on her friends, and I could not be around them anymore. They're so asleep that it was just brutal.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have experiences like that, but like that really drove me insane.
Yeah, I've kind of felt like that too. I mean, I'm just kind of like I've always been kind of a quiet person and never.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I've never. I've always when I lived in Sweden for many years, and I did a master's degree there, and they'd have like no in the Midwest as well where I lived for the last 3 years. There's no sense of like introverted versus extroverted kind of a thing. It's just like,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah, and they were making fun of me. These human slaves were making fun of me because I'm very introverted because I can't handle people's energies, and they're always out drinking and partying and doing drugs, and they're making fun of me for being awakened. And I'm like, that is the most fucking fucked up thing I ever heard is slaves that are asleep making fun of an awakened person that came here to help them wake up. That's like the most condescending thing I ever heard.
mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're trying to explain things to people, it's like um, it's almost impossible.
Oh yeah, and they make fun of you for it. I'm just like, wow, you're making fun of me because I'm smarter than you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I bet a lot of people that watch this show uh, are feel that way about talking to their friends and showing who they really are. Like, I have a lot of starseeds that are super scared to come out about who they are because they're so scared of being judged like the way I get judged. But I'm a Draco. I can fucking handle it. They're just human slaves at the end of the day, and I could care less if they ascend or not. I'm here for other reasons, and so yeah, it's hard for us to show people who we really are and to be open about who we are. And do you have problems like that where you are, where people more accept you are?
Oh no, not really. I just keep going. Everything's about kind of like a situational thing. So it's
Hmm.
right now it's not about anything. I haven't even like my good friend is like still like my ex boyfriend from a couple years ago. So it's like most everything's just kind of like at a distance. I don't really go drinking. I met some really cool people who really revolutionized things. where I was at. But
Hmm. Are you in New York right now?
yeah, I'm in New York.
Okay. Do you find there's a lot of waking people there, or what's going on over there?
Yeah, there's some psychics and
Hmm.
some people who understand what I'm talking about and what you're talking about, but they don't have like the real experience. They're kind of like the dry gin version of spirituality, where it's just about like feeling fulfilled and
Hmm.
meditating instead of having a cigarette and
Yeah,
maybe.
I wish humans would actually take the time to get to learn what we're trying to teach. Like they're so addicted to mainstream um, knowledge. And I'm like, mainstream knowledge is all a lie. Most of it's not even real, and they're just they cannot handle um, that what they've been taught is such a lie. Because if the worst thing in the world is a slave human thinking they're smart because they're so self-educated in mainstream knowledge, and thinking that they're so closed off because their ego's so big. They're like, I graduated college. I'm like, yeah, you graduated college from slave 101. Like,
Yeah, I'm hard for people to figure out. I'm like the bubble in between like all the stereotypes, and
oh my god, and this
they just
COVID
try to
thing that the
avoid
humans fell
completely.
for is fucking hilarious.
So I fit things in when I can, and people are like, "Oh my god, you're just like a bubble of new stuff." And I'm like, yeah,
But like
it take a
to
lot
us
of time.
starseeds, it's just normal. Like that's just normal. Not just basic knowledge. It's basic knowledge knowing that you can leave your body at night and travel the multiverse and visit yourself in other
Yeah,
realities. And they're like,
yeah,
"What? What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, oh my god! Like there's no, you're still a few incarnations away from waking up. So
yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
infinity thing.
So what is your life goal here? You believe as being a starseed?
Uh, I think it was. I think it was like, and I am just supposed to be holding a spot. I'm of the newness. I totally resonate with like James Rank and and everybody like that. I'm kind of like I'm in a total new headspace because I've like forsaken my home place a little bit. So,
Hmm.
so it's like, where are you from? And then it's like you're kind of like I'm in all these stereotypes. But it's been pretty
Hmm.
like it's just like you live in your head a lot of the time, but it's like you're
Yeah,
fine
I
with
actually
it.
project a lot when I'm bored, so like I'm not even ever really present here. And then like this weekend I was in a Soyuz in Canada, and it's like a little lake resort, and there's this like stand of people selling shit, and I can spot star seeds from a mile away. And I walk up and I see this mom and her child, and I walk up, I would just look at them, and they're wearing a certain stone. I'm like, so where are you from? They're like, a Soyuz. No, I'm like, no, where are you really from? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you know what I mean. You're a starseed. They're like, how do you fucking know that? I'm like, because I can just tell. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm from so and so. I'm from this constellation. I'm from this constellation. And then my human cousins that were with me, they like rolled their eyes and they walked away. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm like, how much more fucking proof do you guys need? I just walked up to these two people and knew they were starseeds. They weren't even human. They're just playing human today.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are just stuck. They want everything to be very linear, and
Mm-hmm. They
it's
want like hard evidence. I'm like they're all about third dimensional evidence. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like how much more like I created this show as 34, you'll be 35 videos now of 35 different testimonies. Like how much more fucking proof do you need? Like
yeah. These people are exceptional. It's really cool.
yeah, yeah, they're all pretty cool. I wish we just all lived closer together so we all could hang out, but that's not gonna
Yeah,
happen. We're all spread out for a reason. It's tactical.
yeah.
Yeah. So what happens when you go to sleep at night? Where do you go?
I don't know. If I, um, it's like some kind of a checkup or something, and like it's like a moonbeam into me. It's like
Hmm.
I just hear people start talking, and they like kind of
Hmm.
interact with whatever I was thinking about lately.
Could you imagine if humans found out that you actually never sleep, that you actually never shut off, that your body only shuts off, and that you actually traveled the multiverse while your body's recharging, and that you're existing in other bodies, in other dimensions all at once, and those bodies shut off and you come back into this body? It's just like and then it's like you're such a
And you're
multidimensional
more
being.
than just that.
Yeah, and then people don't understand that the food that you're fed from kids in this world is designed to dumb you down and to make you stupid as fuck and make you um, and to crystallize your pineal gland so you lose those abilities. So you're like stuck in this reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so true. I can see my forehead like get black, or people focus on it. Like some people like try to communicate with my forehead sometimes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
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 Trying to gather information. It's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. So are you the black sheep in your family?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
it though. I was just the regular one.
Yeah.
I was just like the orange bubble with all the blue bubbles or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what else did you want to talk about today?
Oh, um, maybe. Do you
You might
follow?
want to talk.
Do
Go ahead. Pardon?
you follow politics at all?
Yeah.
Are
All the
you
time. Yeah.
upset with the red, the fact that people are keeping to like the blue versus red ideology?
Yeah.
People are still like, oh, but who are you? Are you a Democrat or a Republican?
I'm a Trump fan all the way. I want Trump to come up to Canada and kick our pedophile prime minister out of office. Do you like Trump or what?
Uh, I don't know. I always get I'm like stuck inside a media bubble. Like sometimes I'm like a great differentiator, and sometimes I'll get like in my sleep, people I'll be like held up by a chair by like people like you, like the military or something, and then like put me in between like people speaking like literally live on like Fox News or something like that, and I'll just be like no no no, and then it'll be like some kind of like a it's um, like extra news, just that giving that extra inspiration, and like just like me being like like the cheese knife that's just like maybe this should be better, maybe that should be better. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of being just a giant body in between injustice. It's kind of gross. I remember it's crazy because I've like this has happened to me so often, but I've only started to remember it in like the last year or so.
Yeah. Yeah. So you wanted to talk about some ambassador stuff, what was going on?
Hmm. Yeah, it's like with Corey Good's story, which totally nosedived in the last year. Nobody who was with him, it seems like, is like with his story or even talking about disclosure anymore. And that was kind
Oh,
of like the idea.
he's just a money grabbing whore, that one. So that's all he is.
Hmm. Yeah, but
He did serve in the secret space program, but he used his knowledge to financially gain and get ahead, which is demonic. That's just the same as the church. So
yeah, but like his personal story, like I guess you have to monetize at some point, but like like he for me and for a lot of people, he was like the only force out there that was like putting disclosure into the mainstream narrative. And it
yeah,
was
he was one of the first. I actually met him in person at Contact in the Desert, and he wanted nothing to do with me. I was just like, I kind of gave him like the draconian eyes, like you're such a fucking. He's just using it for fame and money. That's all he is, man. Like I'm just like, dude, you're like 1% of the fucking story. Like everyone heard your story and started, growing balls to come out with their own story. And I met you in person, and you like brushed me off like I'm nothing to you. And I'm like, you're just a. And at the end of the day, he's just a slave little ant that the secret space programs use for their own. He's a slave. That's all he is, and I'm not a slave. So I don't know. He's just using it for fame. All those guys are. David Wilcock, they're all using it for fame and money and stuff. So
yeah, I was really surprised. I just for me it's like those guys are like in their own zone of like disclosure, corruption. It's weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, with great power comes absolute greed, or greed too, right? With anything, or
Mm-hmm.
with absolute power comes absolute corruption. Even like the church, like came beyond corrupted. The government became beyond corrupted. The police became beyond corrupted, right? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
enough is enough, right? Like the world is so on edge right now that all it takes is for one thing to go off and there'll be a massive revolution. I'm just surprised the world elites keep pushing and pushing and pushing to see how far they can get away. I'm like, dude, like
It's
one day
just
the
too
human,
hard to believe. Like if you,
it's just too much. It's just too much for like if you sat even like a religious person, they're so fucked up, right? You sat a religious person down and be like, hey, bud, I'm sorry, but they lied to you for the last 3,000 years. Like it's not real. None of it's real. They just use it for financial gains and power. That's all they did. And they're gonna be like, they're gonna fight you till the day they die because they're gonna think you're Satan, because they've been pre-programmed to think that anyone that talks shit about the Bible is Satan. I'm just like, Jesus, like how are we ever gonna get through this? It's such a good control system.
yeah, it's so, it's just crazy. It's like um, there are not very many people like us who can do like literally everything at the same time. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of us coming out though, so I have some hope for humanity, but it is getting a bit irritating. Like the last girl that I was dating, she was a good girl, but her friends completely fucking ruined it. Like just destroyed it.
Yeah,
And I was just like, and she kind of like is more open to things because she's like more like the black sheep of her friends. But then I'm like in my head, I'm like, you are what your friends are. So this is a part of you. Like how like pretty much just picture the Real Housewives of Orange County, the TV show. That's what they are. And I'm just like, how can a starseed ever date that? That's exactly what's wrong with this world.
yeah. I've just like been in my own space for like ever. Like
Mm.
one of the things like I found just like has just been because I like just do my own thing. Like even when I had it's like forever. I've always just been. I just ran away from like the popular culture in high school. Just totally ran away from that.
Yeah, I didn't understand the popular culture. I didn't understand in my school, why do we have to smoke cigarettes at the smoke pit to be cool and like be suicidal, like putting that harm in our body. And I just was like, I don't want to have to do that to be cool. Like I think that's super weird.
Hmm. Yeah, people always wanted to like figure me out. They're like, "Oh, you're the grandma of the group," and so I was
Hmm.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
you're old soul for sure. Yeah. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to give a message to humanity, then a message to starseeds, and make it a good one.
"Okay, let's see here. Humanity. I hope humanity um, has the opportunity and takes the time out of their day to look into all these conspiracy theories and extra information that maybe seems kind of bizarre, but there really is opportunity in seeing from a different perspective, and there's not everything's about being new. Not everything's about having more stuff. People should really
Okay.
look at out.
Okay, message to starseeds now.
For star seeds, I would say keep up the momentum. Keep looking for everything that you've been wanting because it's all coming to fruition right now. And from what I hear from bits and pieces, it feels like people are like hitting some rough spots and people are having to move around or they're having to make some pretty big choices in life. So I hope that everybody just keeps it up. If you need inspiration, just like read a Bible, read a psalm, read a poem, uh, go online, Don't believe in all the hype and everything. Just stick with whatever you care about.
Let's stay away from reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, thanks for sharing your story today.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.